Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Navi back again. And this is some sobering news right here, but it's news that we've known from just day one of our involuntary servitude to the United States. By involuntary, I mean slavery. All right, that this system has never been just by design. The American legal system is not just by design. The thing that makes them more crooked is the fact that they try to tell you that it is. All right. These type of adversarial justice systems, not only are they not justice, but they're full of liars. And by lie, we're talking about people that have sucked themselves into a lie so far that they now believe the lie, the justice system is faultless and there's no other better system on earth. They now believe that lie is the truth, whereas we as Afro men, the Afro indigenous, had understood that to be a bold-faced lie. Well, since memory serves us. See, unlike the Caucasian person who can believe in the system, we always saw it for what it was because of the corrupt people that created it. The corrupt people that created it didn't intend for people to have justice. They intended for Caucasian males to have justice, and yes, some of the times the Caucasian females. They were quick to not give the black woman justice, but privilege. You know, the old slap on the wrist. You look at the judgment for women during doing a more heinous crime than a man gets almost just nothing. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. All right. So let's look at the miscarriage of justice that's been going on since this system was created by the founding fathers. It's been this biggest scam that Caucasian people believe in since I don't know when. And this includes anybody in the system. And I have no trust for anybody within this system that operates to incarcerate Afro men. This includes any DAs, period. I don't even trust people that go into law to help support this system because they're going into law to make money. Period. So let me greet everybody. Hovorn Hardu Guda all the way to the Bang, Fasas Los, Bonjour, mes amis, Kedu, Bawani Konnichiwa, Ni hao ni ama, Sani Bonani, Jambo Habarigani, Assalamu alaikum, and Shalom. All right, let's look at this real close. Oh, and this was Megan Keneally, right? This was May 23rd, this event that we're going to talk about. How an innocent man was incarcerated for 47 years. That's not even the news. That is not even the news. I'm going to tell you what the news is in a minute. But first, let's get them thumbs up to like, share, and subscribe. When you subscribe, click the notification bells. To donate, all right, my PayPal me link will be in the description box. All right. Remember, you take care of yourself and family first, then you donate to other people. If you don't got it, don't worry about it. I'm gonna still be making videos, right? Not having donations is not my problem. Being blocked by Google is. So it's not y'all, it's them. All right. So with that said, let's move into this story. All right. Pay attention to this. This might shock you if you're Caucasian, but it won't shock us, the people that are so-called referred to as black, but the Afro community. To my Brazilian friends, homens de negros, okay? No surprise, no surprises, okay? E mesmo Estados Unidos, mesmo no brasileiro lê. All right, entendo. All right, the laws are just as corrupt. Lei corrupto para homens e negros brasileiros até Estados Unidos. Okay, so let's break this down.
A man who was convicted of a murder he did not commit will finally have his charges dropped. Today, Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy held a news conference to discuss the latest developments in the case against Richard Phillips. You see him right there. Phillips was charged with first-degree murder back in 1971 and spent the last 45 years behind bars.
Now, understand this. In 71, this guy spent 45 years behind bars. Why? Because it is so easy for these simps, you know, these creations of the B-films and the B-film and Caucasians to set an innocent man up. The problem in the United States that I have is not how the thugs and criminals get treated. That's a problem that black women see, because the thugs and criminal are the only good men they recognize. If you work, take care of the community, love children, want to raise strong, healthy families that can fight against oppression, no, they don't want you. But if you're the very person that's going to end up in prison and stuff like that, going to prison for a B film is like obtaining a college degree, a doctoral degree, if you stay there long enough. They come out, they give you their house and everything. This is the B film. All right. This guy, he might have some luck and get him a young woman, because they're going to see cha-ching, cha-ching. And they'll be with him because he don't know any better. He's been in there 45 years to bleed him dry. He don't know. He's thinking that these women are going to be 1971 women. Nope. Welcome to the 2000s, man. Let's hear more.
But evidence recently brought forward raised questions about the case. Worthy said a conviction integrity unit looked into claims that a key person who testified during Phillips' trial had lied.
Now, let me break something down. All these people that are freeing to the so-called Afro men, the Innocence Project, these people that are coming up with these things are coming up with it because of the egregious acts against minority men. All right, that's one. But I want y'all to understand that most of these people that are working on behalf of the innocent, not the criminals. The criminals got the B films working on their behalf. But most of the people that are working on behalf to prove a man that is innocent should be out of jail are Caucasian people. Go figure. Yeah, that's right. The ones that can't stand the dudes that will work with children, that don't want to have nothing to do with the good dudes. Yeah, those are the B film. They like Pookies and Ray Rays. It's the Caucasian people raising money, going into their court system because they want to believe in a system that is corrupt. But each time they free these men, they start to understand how corrupt this system is. A system that's designed for each side to win and not to determine justice or guilt is a corrupt system. Now, I'm going to tell you what they're doing to Trump. He did nothing wrong. All the evidence says he did nothing wrong. And so what the Democrats did was they had an investigator put him kind of in like a catch-22. He did nothing wrong, but we're not going to let it go like that. All right? We couldn't find any evidence, but we're not going to say he's not guilty. Well, not finding evidence means that he is not guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. Funny how the Democrats forget the law and stuff like that. Oh, the police force and the prosecutors, primarily Democrats. Yes, the legal system's primarily run by Democrats. How many of y'all knew that? My problem is with all of man's systems, I don't vote. That means I can see wickedness when I'm looking at it. And I'm not afraid to name names. I named it when it was Republicans, when they was trying to go after Bill Clinton. All right, had a whole bunch of jokes on that. I should find some of them videos about how they went down over hypocrisy. But this is a new case of wickedness right here. Look at how the female prosecutor worked real hard to get Jussie Smollett off. Jussie. Understand that.
The newly discovered evidence from Mr. Palumbo shows that Mitchell, the central witness, lied during the Phillips trial. That later that Mr. Palumbo gave evidence under oath at the hearing before Judge Cox, saying that Fred Mitchell was the murderer who framed Mr. Phillips.
Now, Phillips has always maintained his innocence. The case against him was dismissed in a judge's courtroom immediately following this morning's conference.
Wow. But 45 years, though. Now, that's not the story here. This happens to Afro men all the time. We're going to get into what the story is that I'm concerned about. And you should be too, those who listen. It's the reason why people should be sharing videos on my channel and making sure people see this channel. Is what sets it apart. But let's see what I'm talking about. Again, let me point out that you got a lot of the BFEMs going into the court systems, and they're working on behalf of the system to be the new police and the new people to put Afro men in jail in a system that they know to be corrupt, but they don't care because they get paid. All right. And this is anybody, black man, black woman, I don't care. You have no past to work for this kind of a system. All right. They will believe that every man that they've put in jail was guilty of the crime. Even though they've skewed the jury pool, they skewed everything, skewed evidence, and skewed. It's an argument based on who can argue better, not whether the guy is really guilty or innocent. It's who can win. And a lot of times they will railroad Afro men as young boys into prison because they understand they have no protection at home in a father. They got a mother, and well, he's about to be 17, 18, and so he's not going to be getting them food stamps and government benefits that's going to come to the house that he never sees anyway, because it goes to her hair, her nails, drug habits, or whatever, but not to food in the house. And not to anything, not to any of his needs. So, you know, he has no thing. All right. Nobody that'll stand up for him in the right way. All right. Let's look at how this case breaks down. Michigan wrongful imprisonment. This is the story right here. Compensation Act, WICA. Wow. Couldn't make that up. Went into effect 2017, and the state has already spent the vast majority of its $6.5 million appropriated to the fund. The fund was set to be refilled with an additional $10 million, but that was targeted Oh, that was the target of the state's new governor's first line item veto on a technicality. All right. Though the governor has expressed her support for approving the $10 million appropriation in a Senate bill, which those involved believe will come in the next few weeks. Okay, so we need to know what was in the first one. All right, that she's going to improve the second one. But for the people close to the exonerees that have not only had spent decades unjustifiably behind bars, but continue to have to fight for compensation, it's a slap in the face. To have to go through and relitigate their innocence again, and then to find that there's no money to pay them once they're successful in relitigating their innocence again is ludicrous, said Gabby Silver Phillips, attorney, white woman. People are playing political ping pong with whether the funds should be made available, and it's really unfair, she said. Wow. Well, I guess, let's see what the problem is. Oh, that's the governor. Is this a part of that war on men these women have? Think about this. All these people are voting these women into power. And honestly, I thought that she was going to sign it in. I thought she was going to be like, when I first decided to do this, I was going to be like, yay, look who's looking out. But nope. All right. For the people that's voting for these women or men. All right. But why are you going to vote for somebody that is having an active war on you because of your gender? I'm just saying. Men, the reason why women have all these rights and stuff is because men gave them to them. You don't believe me? Who is running things? Men. Men said, it's not really fair. We hear you women, so we're going to involve you. The women's like, ooh, you suckers. Now we're going to throw you under the bus. And they've been doing it ever since. Right? Because they say we're the same until a transgender start breaking all their records. Then they say, oh, no, they're not the same as us. But no, you said we're all the same. Oops, well, there's the feminist. The problem that the Wolverine state seems to have run into is one that experts say state legislators nationwide should expect to account for, as more and more states add exonerated compensation laws to their books. Governor Gretchen Whitmer noted in her press release announcement her line item veto on May 10th that she allocated $10 million in the budget for both fiscal year 2019 and 2020 budgets. The release notes that there are 39 claims awaiting payout, the total of which would add up to $24.1 million. Dan Olson and the spokesperson for Michigan's Attorney General Dana Nessel told ABC News that the appropriation of $10 million through the 2020 budget to take effect on October 1st, if not sooner, through a supplemental appropriation. All right, so she signed only $10 million into the budget, and it might get supplemented from 2019 to 2020. It is important that we continue to fulfill our obligation to men and women who were wrongfully imprisoned for crimes they did not commit, and we look forward to working with the legislator to make that happen, Olson said in a statement. Okay, so it looks like at first she vetoed one for one reason and then signed the other. All right, so we don't know why, but what we do know is they're like $14.1 million short of what they're going to need. They've been putting so many innocent Afro men disproportionately in prison that many of them are being exonerated. We're not talking about the drug dealers. We're talking about the Afro men that's been set up by Pookies and Ray Rays and the BFIM. I want y'all to understand this. I kept telling you that the BFIM has placed more innocent men in prison than the crooked police and white women combined. Y'all weren't believing me. Now states are running out of money is because Caucasian people are working on behalf of the brothers to get them free. You know, the ones that were innocent. All right. You know, the ones the BFIMs don't like, the ones that don't really do SH, that get set up by the BFIM offspring that's running in the hood. And they say, we ain't going in because we want to sit out here and keep destroying the hood. So let's blame another man that looked like me. Wow, can't you see? Earlier this year, there were 33 states that agreed to pay or compensate at varying levels those who have been wrongfully imprisoned. And just weeks ago, Indiana passed their own law, and advocates expect that Rhode Island will join the list of the coming weeks, bringing the national total to 35 states with some form of compensation. So we have 50 states. That means 15 states don't give a F. Think about that. Those compensation levels vary greatly. However, with New York having no limit to how much someone can be compensated, or California, which allows $140 a day of wrongful imprisonment with a cap of $2 million. See, all this is bull, right? All of this is bull. They owe these guys they owe these guys a life. For these many years, they shouldn't have to pay taxes or anything. So here's the states that have exoneration compensations, right? The states with some form of compensation are in light blue. The states with no compensation are in dark blue. So Indiana, Wyoming, Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, Arizona. Did I say Arizona? I mean Arkansas, Kentucky, Georgia, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania. If you're an Afro brother, I would leave them states alone right now. Oh, let's not forget Rhode Island and Delaware. And also Alaska. All right. These are the states I would leave alone in the dark blue. All right. On the opposite end, New Hampshire has 20,000 cap. Wisconsin allows for $5,000 per year wrongfully imprisoned, but has a cap at $25,000. So these are people that just don't give a hoot. Through a review board, it has the power to position for extra fund, annual compensation $50,000 per wrongfully imprisoned year appears to be roughly the middle of the United States compensation spectrum, right? And that's what Philip is slated to be paid. $50,000. Since he spent nearly 30 years in a prison for the first-degree murder for which he was later exonerated, Nessel announced May 17 that her office approved a $1.5 million payout for Philip, which is an annual compensation of $50,000 per year. All right, they're calculating what probably the median income for a good job is and giving him that. All right, fair enough. Rebecca Brown, a director of policy of the Innocence Project. Rebecca Brown, a director of policy at the Innocence Project, who started by white male lawyers, said that when a state first creates a compensation law, they will likely be inundated with any number of people who have been previously clear of their wrongful conviction in the past, meaning that the payoff will add up in the first few years. And this is my concern. My concern is this. They have criminally put so many innocent brothers in jail based on the words of the B-Film and their thug progeny, right? That many people will try. I fear that it'll get to the point where people try to stunt the work of the Innocence Project in order to slow down the money bleeding. Period. All right. So this is why I said instead of keeping the innocent out of prison, they're going to work real hard to keep the innocent in prison because it'll save them money. Remember, a lot of this was happening because, prison has become an industry where many people are making money off of the backs of the new slaves, who are predominantly black, disproportionately. Think about that. And that's why we need to flip the script and let this whole system hit the wall. The best way to win in this system is not to play the games. Think about it. With that said, I'm out.